much older than Dillon. They're probably go back to the year 3000 BC. And oh, look, where did that come from? You know, think about it. A hunter has a bow, with a string on it, and he's sitting down eating lunch, and he decides to pluck the string, and it doesn't sound too bad. And that's where the harp came from, as far as we know. They probably originated in Mesopotamia, somewhere in the Middle East. They spread eastward into the Middle East, and then into Spain and up into Ireland. Also in the middle of Europe, there's the German harp makers and Dutch and so forth. My notes even say the Vikings had some harps, but the big ones presently are the Irish, the Welsh, and the Scots, believe it or not, before the bagpipes. There are a lot of Scots harpists around too. Let's see what else would be interesting. The oldest harp around is in Trinity College in Dublin. Has 30 strings, made of willow. Yeah, and 900 of the harp. 3 things were considered essential to a gentleman: a harp, a cloak, and a chessboard. Basically, the most players you'll find in the world today are Irish and Scots. But, there are plenty of harp players otherwise. A lot of harp players around here, believe it or not. While Carol's banging away, you can see some of the strings are red. That's the note C. There's some that are dark. These are blue, and sometimes they're black. That's F. And otherwise, you go berserk trying to find your way over all the strings. The harp strings, as they're strung up, are tuned exactly like the notes on a dulcimer, exactly like the white keys on the piano. And the reason for the colors is to tell where you are. The only thing that I can't figure out is how come blind people play harp, because they don't care what color the strings are.
Even the orchestra harps are.
Even the pedal harps and
they're set up the same way.
they still have color strings. You notice the little gold doohickeys on there that Carol's fussing with now. That changes the pitch on the string.
Right,
So you can get the chromatic note if you need it to change keys. The pedal harps in an orchestra do it with the pedals, and they can flat or sharper string. This you can only sharper string.
Unless you cheat.
Can you talk a little bit about the harp coming to the U.S.?
Came with the Irish, probably. I don't know too much other than that. As far as I know, the Irish probably are responsible for getting the harp over here. I mean, there was a mass Irish migration after the potato famine, and I'm sure that the music came over with them. And
Harps were also being big in the orchestra.
yeah,
You know, so many of the formal music from Europe when it came over.
formal music had the big
They
harp.
had the big harps and big pedal harps.
But the folk harps, I'm sure the Irish were
Right.
probably more responsible than anybody else for bringing it over here.
I mean, the difference between a pedal harp, it's like 5 feet tall and very heavy, and it's really hard to transport. The Belfast Harp Orchestra, as the first harpist of the Belfast Harp Orchestra, they played the same size harp that I have right here, which is a 34 string. And I've got 4 or 5 octaves on here. I can pretty much hit everything. And it's not, I mean, it fits in the back seat of my car. I have a little Subaru wagon that has a Honda Acura. You just let jump in the back seat, and it's just perfect. You don't need to have a huge thing to transport it. I mean, it's fairly stable, so it's balanced. So it's not really that heavy. But when you get bigger than this, they really get clunky. So
You've seen a pedal harp car. They practically have a cherry picker. They got a great big thing with wheels on it. Crank it up, wheel it out the door, and they need a station wagon, a Hummer or so. Carry it. They're beautiful instruments, and also they're like $20,000 to $40,000. This does not cost $20,000.
the Barney harps would be a lot shorter. This is 34 strings. It would be 4 strings shorter. It would be the 4 strings that are on the bottom of the bass. And that would be the size that they would have ridden on the horse. You know what I mean? And take the harp with them. African harps are really big too. And it's sort of the same idea. And the difference, the Irish tend to spread their strings out, and they'll play with the bass with the one hand and then the treble, the melody string with the upper hand. With an African harp, they're going to be playing, and they'll be playing over, so they might have 11 strings. And you would not believe the sound that comes out of an African harp. It's just a whole different. And now what we're seeing is some of the Irish players are taking some of those techniques, and you're starting to see a real blending of the techniques. Where the Irish would stretch it out, the African harps would be a lot more common, shall we say.
then there's a Paraguayan harp too, which is very much like this, except the strings are right smack in the middle. There are no sharpening levers, and you are in one key, but they can be built a lot lighter, and they have a real rich sound. And they're played very much like this, except you're stuck in one key. You can't. There's no way to put a sharpening lever on a Paraguayan harp that I know of. They're not too popular in this country, but I have seen one in there. There's also two other harps. There's a cross-strung harp. There's a cross-strung harp where the strings are like this. The diatonic strings are on the inside and the chromatics are on the other. And that's kind of a pain in the neck to play. And then there's the infamous Welsh triple harp, which apparently only five people in the world can play it. It's got 3 rows of strings. The 2 strings on the outside are diatonically tuned, and the one set in the middle is chromatic. So if you want to hit a chromatic string, you've got to reach in.
So like the white keys of the piano are on the outside, and then blacks would all be in the center. And when you want to play, you have to play through.
You have to play through without hitting the other. That's why only 5 people in the world. They sound incredible. I've heard them play, but my God, you don't want to go there. This is hard enough to play.
Oh, I was going to say one more thing about the sharp levers. You said the same thing as the dulcimer. You said that the levers at the top, you set your sharps and flats for whatever key you're going to play, and then you can hit the wrong note, but it won't be out of key. Like it's not going to be a dissonant sound because you've got everything set like where your staff up music. If you've ever listened to the Saturday morning cartoons, you hear the famous angel wings noise, and that's the harp is traditional for that. Dad tried to play glissando for you on the dulcimer, but when you do it on the harp, you start at the bottom. Down. It's actually a technique. If you're listening to a harp orchestra, if any of the harpists loses their place, they will glissando until they catch up with the music again. So that's what they tell you to do. So.
It's like running your fingers with the white keys on the piano.
Any of those old Tchaikovsky ballads. But that's it, and everybody, I mean, you can hear that. Like there's no notes that are out. It's just when you change from key to key.
One other thing, first, tell them about the little harp, the therapeutic harp, the small ones.
My little treble harp has it's 22 strings, so it's about it's down right below my seat right here. And I take that into they use them a lot in hospitals. Gloria Galante, who's at Westchester University, right across the river here, did a study at University of Penn where she went in and was playing one of the therapeutic harps in the operating room. They were doing brain surgery and they wanted to limit the amount of anesthesia that they used, so she came in and played the harp and they hardly used any anesthesia at all. The problem with brain surgery is you have to be alert enough to tell them when they're hitting something that they shouldn't be hitting, and so they don't want to totally throw you out with that. The harp music is just so soothing. And with my little one, which is like about this big, it's really nice. You can sit on the couch or put your feet up and you lay it back on your chest and it kind of vibrates when you play.
Classic harp position.
Right.
Flopped on the couch with your feet up in the air.
But it's very soothing at night. You can almost play yourself to sleep. You don't really need to play a tune. You can just pick any kind of sounds and it has a very pleasing tone. To make a chord on the harp, it's every other note, just like it would be like in the scale of 1 and 3, the first note of the scale. So I can go anywhere and just skip over. And I'm going to get thirds, so I can have instant chording, if you will, or I can get super fancy and do like 1, 3, 5. And it doesn't matter where I put my 1, 3, 5 down. I'm going to get a chord. It's going to be soothing.
Same thing. That's why a 4-string dulcimer is nice, because the first 2 strings are tuned the same, and if you go 3 notes apart. Same thing what she's doing.
So I was going to show, you made one left-hand harp, I think, right?
Yeah, I made one left-handed harp.
But most people will play.
That's a venal stem. That's not a modal stem.
Usually you play the melody with the one hand, like with the piano. It's typically the right hand, and then you would play your chord stem with the left hand. So when the harp leans back on you, it's not like this is too far. You want to have it so that it's actually almost balanced. It really doesn't really need me here. So, but then you have the freedom of both hands to be able to move. And you want to sort of usually when you sit in a chair, you have a bench so your back is. But then you look through and you'll play. You look where you're watching the melody, so it'll be up here. So if I was to do a song like Green Sleeves. other hand with it too. You just very simply chord it.
They also use these in hospice care when somebody's, practically at the end and want to relax.
Or just anybody that needs
Really
any sort of
works.
pain
Because if
relief,
you're
or just-
gonna go and pass away, it's a nice way to go. It really makes, I'm not being smart, but it makes a world of difference.
Well, my mother-in-law was sick when she was dying of cancer. She had some blood, so I'd go over like that night. It helped her to get to sleep, and she just worked doing the sound. It's very soothing. People just, it's got an incredible. Okay, one other thing I wanted to go over again was the song structures from the Irish music, how it translated over to the traditional American music. And the structure of an Irish song is traditionally there's like an A part and a B part. So you would play the A first, and when you play it in a group, everybody kind of knows how it's played, if you will. Like you'll play the A part and you repeat it, then you play the B part and you repeat it, and then you do an A, B at the end. And it's very similar to the structure with American folk tunes. There's going to be this balance and trade-off between the A and the B parts. So I wanted to play one piece for you called Eleanor Plunk. It was a very old tune. It's about 300 years old. It was composed by Turlough O'Carolan. He's the blind harper of Ireland, and he made his living by riding around on his horse and going from home to home, and the homes would sponsor him, and then he would write pieces of music for all people in the household. He would continue to pay them. I mean, he would continue to play, they would continue to pay. So this was for Eleanor Plunkett, so someone in the Plunkett household had commissioned Turlough to play this for his wife.
Let me add one thing too to be smart. It's 300 years old, the song. It still sounds great. I wonder if Lady Gaga will be remembered 300 years from now. I don't know. It's nasty.
She may
but
come in on a harp.
She may come in on a harp. Who knows?
So when I play this song, there's a combination of the plucked chords as well as the roll chords. But when I play it, listen, and you can hear how the A, I'll play the A bar, and then I'll repeat those couple of phrases again, and then we'll move to the B, and I'll play the B, and I'll repeat the B again, and I'll end up on an A. Because it ends up on a knock note, which drives people nuts, so I go back and resolve it. My harp is in the key of C, and the D tone I'm playing for you, or trying to play for you, is in G, which means that my F's need to be sharp. So please excuse me for just a minute. I'll put a little bit of that aside. Too much talking and not enough paying attention.
gentlemen,
Does
and,
anybody have any questions?
oh, yeah, chief, please, any questions?
If anybody wants to try the harp, I think it's something if you've never experienced it, you should do
So
it.
you can either play like it's a double melody, or you can play a third part, which makes you a chord all the time.